Oh, when the church responds to mental health issues, I'm here for it. Thank you so much, Saints. That was powerful and very, very insightful. Moving swiftly along, we're coming close to closing our program. I would like to call upon a young lady by the name of Saint Amanda Dumisa to give us financial advice. Yeah, to give us advice about our monies. Come on up, Amanda Dumisa.
Unto the Church of God and Saints of Christ, to the bishops in their absentia, to the evangelists at large, to the evangelist, the minister of music, my pastor, TC Dumisa, to the evangelist, minister of music, Hendricks, to the evangelist, to the entire ministerial body, sister ministers, to the choir officials, the general choir officials, to the district choir officials, to all the saints, sons and daughters of God's prophet, all hail. Let me just introduce myself to those that don't know me. I am Saint Amanda Dumisa. I am a financial accounting graduate and a certified accountant, and I am aspiring and studying in the University of South Africa towards being a chartered accountant. And today I was tasked to make a brief presentation about finances. And due to limited time, I would like to just go in to just immediately just shoot straight into it. Also, I'd like to thank the presentations that have happened so far, especially the mental health presentation that just took place right now. Very insightful. I learned a lot. We need more of these in the church. If we do not get them in the church, I do not know where else we're gonna get them. We're probably gonna get unnecessary things from outside. But just to go right into it, firstly, I want to talk about what to do with your finances as the youth. Am I audible, saints? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
I think my network has a problem.
It's just glitching a bit. It's not that bad, though.
Oh, okay. But you can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Firstly, I want to talk about what to do with your finances when you're starting off. This is for the youth, because I was tasked to speak on finances specifically to the youth. Be it you are I got muted by accident, I think. Okay, I'll just continue. Am I all right, Saints? There seems to be some sort of confusion.
No, we can hear you, Amanda. We can hear you clearly.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it must be on my side. Sorry. I keep freezing, so I think it's the same on your side. All right. This is for the youth that is just starting off. So be it you are at school, you're about to venture into the working environment, or you just started and you just finding your way around your finances. Firstly, we as young people know what we do with our money. Even before you receive a steady income or steady salary. Oh, okay. But sorry, I was tasked for the youth assistant general, but you're correct. Maybe in the next session. We as the youth, we know what we do with our money, even before you receive a steady income. With that little money that you get before you leave and you go to work, and you earn an income. You with that said, with us knowing what we do with that, it is important that we go and we jot down and identify our bad money habits. That is where you start, because the goal of this talk is not for us to achieve wealth or get rich. It's just so that we can advise one another, or I can bring advice to you that on how to have a healthy and good relationship with your finances. So when you identify your bad habits, that is your starting point. You are now well on your way to having a healthy relationship with your finances. What do I mean by bad habits? I'll give you an example. Say I know bad habit is small enough, it's too small. It starts when you're little and you grow with it. It starts during your youthful years and you grow with it. An example would be, if I am I have a laptop, a fully functioning laptop that I have had for probably 2 years or a year now. There is absolutely no problem with it. And now the manufacturer or the brand of the very same laptop that I have now releases an upgraded version of that laptop. And I now suddenly want to get that laptop. It's important that we identify what we need and what we want all the time. If you want to have a healthy relationship with your money, know and understand what it is that you need and what it is that you want. Because as you grow older and as your financial income increases, so do your bad habits. Today it will be that laptop, it would be that techie, that shoe, whatever. Tomorrow it will be a car. You will want to have to change a car every year because there's now a new model that's released of the car that you were driving. It did not start with the car. It starts when you're young. And if you fail to see that now, you are in danger, because then it builds up, it becomes a chain, and you end up finding yourself in unnecessary debt. So if you have self-control now with the little things that you have and the little that you have a better chance of having a healthy financial relationship with, or a healthy relationship with your finances. Also, prioritize. Prioritize, prioritize, prioritize. I cannot stress this enough. We have a tendency, especially here in South Africa, I don't know how it is in the States, but here in South Africa, it's good to be independent. It's a good feeling. It's good. You can now afford your own things. You can afford your lifestyle. And now you're working. You're now working as this steady income that's coming in every month. But now you now want to live outside of your income. You now want to you now want to live outside of your income. You now want to buy yourself an expensive car. You now want to go and live in areas that you cannot afford as yet. Remember, you're starting up. You're only starting right now. So you should live within your income. It is not wise to now have expenses that take away or that just subtract 80% or even 70% of your income, and now you only have to live off 30% from month end to the next month end. Then that is when the gap for debt comes in, because now it's let's make it practical. You're earning 10,000 rands. You want to buy a car that costs you, let's say, 4,000 rands. You have an apartment also that costs you another 4,000 rands. That's 8,000 rands gone. It's an example, just trying to practicalize it. Now you have 2,000 rands to live off. That's petrol, that's food. You still have food to buy, you have petrol for a month, And now you're going to have no other choice but to go and borrow money from another place, from somewhere else. And now you have created an unnecessary debt. And also, especially, I know this among girls, you now want to go open accounts at Edgar's, at Fushini, at Total Sport, wherever it might be, for clothing, for handbags. It's good to look good, but live within your income. It's unnecessary because it catches up with you. It will always catch up with you. Because now, back to our example, now you're gonna have to go and make that loan, borrow that money, and say, okay, I'm gonna pay it back next month. Forgetting that next month you're gonna get another 10,000 rands. That and from there you're gonna have to pay another 4,000 rands for the car, another 4,000 rands for the apartment, and now you have this extra debt that you need to pay. What are you gonna do then? Then it's now an ongoing cycle of debt. You just find yourself drowning in unnecessary debts that you could have avoided. Work towards owning assets. Work towards owning assets. In South Africa, there is a subsidy, a government subsidy. I don't know in the States, but in South Africa, there's a government subsidy called FLISP. This subsidy helps people that earn between the margin of 3,000 rands and 20,000 rands a month. They help them towards becoming property owners, because the people that earn between this margin are deemed to be earning too much to get free housing from the government, but too little to get home loans from banks. And I bring this up and I say this specifically because we need to be logical about how we spend our money. Remember, it's about having a healthy relationship with your finances. It makes no sense to want to go and just rent out an apartment when you have an option of actually, from the onset, paying towards being a homeowner. It makes no sense because you're now gonna just rent, and you're just gonna keep building debt. And it's easier, remember and bear in mind that it is easier to avoid debt than it is to come out of it. Never, ever, ever forget that. And it's not wise also to live from month end to month end. You get money today, all of your expenses go. All of your expenses come through rather, and all of your money goes. Or you have little to go by. And then now all you're gonna do is now wait for another month end to come. And then now again, you're back to square one. Build. And there is no better time to start building than now. You will not learn how to build when you're older if you do not teach yourself. It starts small. Back to what I said. Just going back a little bit to what I said on the bad habits. You build. It's a lifestyle. You learn to control yourself and you teach yourself these things. Then you will surely have a healthy lifestyle with your finances, or a healthy relationship with your finances. The second thing I want to talk about would be investing. Let's look at the reason why people invest. There's only one reason that people invest. People invest with the outcome or the ultimate goal to make more money, or have their money make more money for them. That's the reason people invest. And two goals that you have. It's also wise to not just invest because we are investor, or because there's such a thing as investment. Invest with a purpose, invest with a goal, invest knowing what you want out of that investment. The first reason why people invest would be to prevent the value, to preserve the value of your money. Because a rand today will not be a rand tomorrow. External factors like inflation, economic changes, economic fluctuations rather, influence the value of your money. So people will invest in order to preserve the value of their money. A practical example would be, I remember when I was young, some South Africans will agree, at some point bread was 5 rand. Just the coin, single coin, 5 rand. Today, the value, the amount of bread has doubled. And there's some change, it has doubled and there's some change also. And if my parents at that time had maybe taken that 5 rand and put it under the bed and said, okay, no, I'm saving it for 5 years to come, or 10 years to come, so I can buy bread then. It's not practical. It wouldn't buy bread today, in today's day and age. So that is why people then invest to preserve the value of their money, so that you are able to buy yourself the very same asset you can afford today. So a weave today, bread prices approaching 20 rands. Thank you for that. Look at that. It's even what, almost 4 times now. It's almost 4 times what it was back then. So that is why people will then invest their monies in order so that what they buy themselves today, they can afford the very same thing years to come. They do not downgrade or degrade financially. And the second one, being the most obvious one, would be for growth, for appreciation, for your money to grow and appreciate. This is then when you want to be able to afford that bread in future and something else, maybe that bread and milk, just an example. So you're not only preserving that value, but you're preserving it and adding more value to your current value of, to the current value of your money. And there are many ways to make an income. Many ways. Firstly, or let me just touch on this one. There is something we call passive income. This is when you make income by not doing much. So it is an investment. It's a sort of, it's an investment, but you're not doing much, excuse me, on that investment. And then you get income. You get a return on that investment without having to do a lot. A practical example would be if you purchase property, a house, just purchase a house and you rent it out. You don't have to do much for your tenants to pay you any rent. So what you're doing is you are just receiving that income that you receive is called passive income. What you're doing is just getting income while you're busy with something else. And I recommend this. I call it a side hustle. There are many other ways in today's day and age to get passive income. You can go look it up. There are many ways. And I recommend this specifically because also we are in a pandemic. It's not wise also to just have one source of income. If you have the opportunity and the chance to also get it from somewhere else, do so, especially passively, then do so. Because we're in a pandemic 5 years ago. Who would have anticipated that today millions of people would be out of jobs? Many houses today, many families today are struggling to make ends meet because of they just had that one source of income where the money comes in and then we share it amongst different responsibilities and different expenses, and then that's it. So I strongly advise that to the youth that you go and look legal ways, legal ways in which you can make passive income. Okay, also, I want to go into where you can make your income, your other income. Firstly, I want to look at the most invested in, or where you can make your investment, rather, we're talking about investment, where you can make your investment and get a good return out of it. The first one being the most invested place, the most invested in place. That would be the stock market or the equity market. I don't know, it has different terms around the world. But this is then when you purchase or you buy a portion of a company through shares. I'll give an example. Say company X, which is a South African company based in South Africa, established in South Africa, wants to expand themselves. They want to now branch out into different countries, into other countries. And they decide that they want to expand and go into business in Zimbabwe. Now, what they will do is they will make available to the public an X amount of ordinary shares, which you then buy as the public, and they are then able to finance their expansion through you purchasing those shares. And now they have set up their branch, and their branch is profitable and they are doing well. Then the amount of shares that you have purchased in that company, the market value rather of those shares that you have purchased in that company will then appreciate, will then go up. And this is then, they will then go up. And this is then when you now make, how you make an income in the stock market, right? But also experts advise and suggest that it is wise to invest in companies that will most likely be there in 15 to 20 years. When you invest in the stock market, it's not a short-term thing. But again, we are the youth, you're starting now. So you're obviously not looking out to just make money now and that's it. You're also looking into the future. It is unpredictable. Again, there's no perfect example as the pandemic, the situation we find ourselves in today. Today it's Corona, tomorrow it might be something worse. We don't know. But it is wise to invest in companies that will most likely be there in 15 to 20 years. That is what experts say. This is how you know if a company is doing well. You look at their financial statements, preferably financial statements that date back to 5 years or 3 to 5 years. And you look at their performance in the economy. So you would want to invest in a company that has a growth, because the stock market appreciates, it increases and it decreases. It is very much unstable. But you would ideally want to invest in a company that that has a financial graph that relatively looks like this. But obviously, as I had said, that the stock market takes dips. So it will look like this, then it will take a dip. But when it comes up, it should go higher up than its last peak, right? So you can see that it's increasing. It's increasing. It might take a dip, but it will increase higher than what it was previously when it was at its best. So you would want to invest in companies like that. Then because it's a risk, but it's a calculated risk. It's a risk that is worth taking, because then you can safely invest your money in a company that's looking like that. Because then when you or also you do not make as much as the market value of your shares will increase when the company is profitable and everything. You do not then make money immediately at that time. The money, you will make it once you sell those shares. So after you let go of those shares, then the return, because it's an investment, the return on that investment will then be the profit that you make from the initial purchase of those shares. Also, also there is something called dividends. I'm sure many of us have heard of those, but it is important that we are mindful of the fact that dividends are not compulsory in the company. You might invest in the company and want to get dividends, but it is at the discretion of the shareholders upon being advised by the directors, because the directors are the people that run the company. They know what is actually going on in the company. They know what is going on with the competition. They know what is best for the company. So they might come one AGM and they just say, no, we think it would be best for the company if we reinvest the dividends back into the company. That also will also take the market value of the shares and appreciate them, and they will increase again. And then you will be more profitable when you let go of those shares. The second investment, I want to go about the real estate, which is property. You know, most people, I also used to be this person. Most people use that real estate means you go and you buy property, and then you probably you then let it out, or you go and you buy land and then you develop it, and then you let it out, or you sell it, or you resell it. But that's not always the case. There are companies out there that actually do that for you. Real estate is not just brick and mortar the whole time. There are companies that actually go and they do that. And what you do is you invest into these companies. And they go and they build, they develop, they manage these properties for you. They are called the real investment trustees, which is RIT, RIT, RIT. So like the stock market, how you make your income here is when you, after you have invested into the company, and then they go and they develop their properties in different places elsewhere, and they get tenants, or however they may be doing it. They might be developing and selling, or just developing and renting it out. And that is when your investment appreciates. And again, you do not make an income immediately. Excuse me. You do not make an income immediately. You will then realize your return on investment once you let go of that. So once you sell it, then that's when you make an income. That is when you realize profit, rather. And in conclusion, I feel that we as the youth of the church, or the youth of today, especially the youth of the church, we cannot be found wanting financially. We cannot repeat the same mistakes that were made by the people that come before us, our parents, our grandparents. We have a lot of resources and tools at our fingertips. We should use them. I made mention of there's also RIT that I just mentioned right now. We have these tools, we have these resources at our fingertips, and it is our duty that we utilize them. we use them, and we make most out of them. And so that they, by doing so, that will help us to make smarter and more sound financial decisions. Remember, the goal is to have a healthy financial relationship. That is the goal. Building wealth and whatever, that might be for another day. But right now, we're just focusing on building a healthy financial relationship. And also, do not forget, I mean, this is very important, very, 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 very important. Do not forget to make your spiritual investment. Tithe, tithe, always, always. Even if you get a simple amount like 10 rands, put aside that 1 rand. It goes a long way. I am a witness. I'm a witness. It goes a long way. And that's your spiritual investment. As much as we're talking about our physical investment, also take care of your spiritual investment. And thank you all for your time. Thank you to the districts for giving me some time to actually come and just do this presentation. Thank you all.